everyone, I'm Olivia Detweiler. Welcome to Tommy Media's The Locker Room. The St. Thomas football team went to 6-0 after shutting out Augsburg 17-0 October 8th. While the Tommies haven't lost, the next opponent hasn't won a game this year. The Hamline Pipers are 0-5 and have been shut out in every game but one this season. They'll come to Palmer Field as the last place team in the MIAC. I'm joined today by St. Thomas coach Glenn Caruso and senior quarterback Dakota Tracy. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
So, Coach, how do you keep your team motivated and to focus on when playing a struggling team?
It really has very little to do with who they are, and we don't want to put ourselves in front of everybody, but all we can worry about is our own team. And so we've done that, I think, for the last several years. If we were facing the #1 team in the nation, it really wouldn't change how we prepare. We're facing a team that is struggling right now, and I know they're in their first year and they're turning things around, but we're not going to judge ourselves based on what happens on the scoreboard. Certainly we want the win, but the most important thing is playing the best that we can play. So we always judge ourselves on how well we do relative to how well we could do, and if you keep that in perspective, it's not too hard no matter who you face.
And Coach John Pate is with his first season with Hamline, and as someone who's turned a program around, what advice would you give to Pate?
He probably doesn't need any advice from me, but I would just tell him, do what you want. In the end, it's your program, and a lot of people are going to tell you what they think you should do. And the bottom line is, if they wanted someone else to be the head coach, they would have hired him. You're hired, you're in that position, and the only way you're going to be able to sleep at night, win or lose, is by keeping your identity and doing what you want to do. We've been here 4 years, and I think part of the success is because we started a grassroots effort to build an identity as a defense, as an offense, as a special teams unit, as a cohesive team early. We didn't waver from that. It might have cost us a little bit early, but I've seen a lot of teams that go away from what they want to do and who they want to be early, and it really hurts them down the road. So bottom line is there's going to be ups and downs. Be you. If you can be the best you can, you'll be in good shape.
Okay. And Dakota, you faced a tough defense last week with Augsburg. What did the offense learn from that?
Well, we know that we got to come out every week and play as hard as we can and focus on each and every play. And I guess what we learned from that game is we just got to be prepared for everything. You know, expect the unexpected, because teams are going to come out and do things to us that they don't do to other teams. And we got to be ready for that and be able to make adjustments on the fly.
And with the #3 national ranking in your final season, do you feel a lot of pressure?
No, in terms of the rankings, I don't feel any added pressure at all. And as a team, we don't even think about the rankings because. Okay. In all reality, they don't even really matter. All that matters is how you finish your season out. But no unnecessary pressure.
Okay, now it's time for our fan question. This week's fan question is from senior Ian McIntosh. Coach, he wants to know, when you look towards the postseason, who do you think is the best team outside the MIAC?
I appreciate the question, but we don't look towards a postseason. I can answer the question in telling you who I think are other good teams out there, but we're not worried about what's going on in the postseason right now. And there's some really good ones throughout the country. Obviously, the two big monsters that are out there in Whitewater and Mount Union, rightfully so, have solidified their place and prominence being in the national championship game for a lot of years. But outside the league, I think it's going to be the usual suspects if you look outside the league in terms of who's playing good football right now in Week 6. Certainly Linfield's got some good football going on. Calou out there as far as the West goes. I really can't speak for much of the East because we don't get a chance to cross over too much with them. But I do know this. Our region traditionally is not just the strongest, but last year I think we had 7 of the top 10 teams were in our region when it came selection time in a few weeks. So if you can make it out of our region, you're usually in pretty good shape. Like I said, those are good teams that are playing good football now. All we're really focused on is Week 7 versus Hamline.
Okay. If you have a question for Coach Caruso, tweet it to @TommyMedia. Be sure to check Tommy Media for the latest campus news. With Coach Glenn Caruso and Dakota Tracy, I'm Olivia Detweiler. We'll see you next time in The Locker Room.